Okay, so this video has been trending of Lucky Udu, who went to help OPM pastor seek a wife out for this young man on the spectrum. So this young man has autism, and the OPM pastor explains that he was abandoned as a baby in the church premises or whatever, and he's had to raise him. In fact, he called the police. They took him to an orphanage to seek help. The orphanage, seeing his condition, they said they don't have the resources to take care of him. Why is there not a facility that takes care of people on the spectrum who have no parents? Why is it left to some foundation that is not equipped to take care of them? That's the first thing that jumps out to me. Again, people say everything's about politics. We don't have to always discuss politics. And it annoys me so much because everything is about politics. You leaving your house and getting to church safely is about politics. It is politics. Yesterday, Palm Sunday, so many people lost their lives in Jos. Politics. You can't even go to church and come out and come back safely. Politics. Let's go back to this story. Now, this young man on the spectrum was abandoned as a baby. Why don't we have resources? That is not the only child on the spectrum that has been abandoned, abused for so many years. Why are there no resources that takes care of these things? In Nigeria, in 2026, why don't we have those things in place? Why does this pastor, why is it left to the church? Because your survival is left on you, is your burden. While they take your money and go to live in penthouses in Dubai. Now let's get back to the story. Now this OPM pastor sees this boy has a high sex drive or whatever, and he wants to help him with this situation. And he thinks that the best way to help him is to get a wife that can satisfy his high sexual needs. He's not the first man living on the spectrum that has a high sex drive. He's not the first person in that whole Nigeria. Please, medical doctors, can you guys chime in? There are medical experts that deal with this. He's not the first young man, first human. Even the women who are on the spectrum and they have autism, they tend to have those tendencies, and there are ways to manage it. There are medications that help them manage the condition. Why is a pastor? This is a leader of a church. He leads people. He thinks that marriage is the solution. How is that the solution? And there are people standing there with him, endorsing the rubbish. Lucky Udu, are you not educated? Why would you carry your mic and go and support this nonsense? It's rubbish. You guys are exploiting this young man. It's not even, he doesn't even have the capacity to make an informed decision. Talk about giving his consent for marriage. So they have put a mature woman there to abuse him sexually and say that we have met his sexual needs. Are you both okay? And you guys have used the most powerful tool in Nigeria, poverty, to just do, and everybody's like, the Holy Spirit told me. Guys, please. The Holy Spirit told you what? Eh? The Holy Spirit told you what, ma'am? What did the Holy Spirit tell you? That you should marry a man on the spectrum that cannot even say, yes, I do. Eh, you guys? He's not the first person who had this condition. There are ways to manage it, and marriage is not the solution. But you know what? Nigeria is a humiliation ritual for women. Nigeria humiliates women at every chance they get. Because it has to be, oh, let's put money into it. You've exchanged, you've put a caregiver who is also supposed to meet his sexual needs into the situation so that a man on the spectrum who does not have the capacity to make informed decisions will be taken care of. What kind of sick society? Poverty is actually a disease. Nigeria needs to fight to break free. The real owners of Nigeria that are causing these people to live in poverty must release this country so that everything will work. In a working country, This boy will be in the right facility with the right caregivers, and he will be cared for all his life. He will never ever suffer. And it will not be tied to another woman, and they will say she's meeting his sexual needs. In a working country, there are so many. In fact, there is a whole industry that produces jobs for people because people have autism. There's a whole industry. So that's employment for the people. Number one, you have to train teachers. So now you are getting paid. Teachers are getting paid that will teach and train support workers. That's a whole line of business, of income or employment that will care, that they know the scope of practice. They are raised with the standards of practice on how to care for people living on the spectrum. When they start maturing, when they start having these needs that we don't know how to handle, these people are trained experts. You see why you should not go to your pastors for birth control or family planning advice, for marital advice. They are not trained. The line of entry, the price for entry into pastor in Nigeria is so low. These people are not trained. This man is not a trained medical professional trying to solve a medical need with a culturally acceptable whatever. They are not trained. Your pastors are not medically trained to handle these things. I don't blame him. He's dealing with it on his level of knowledge. That's what he knows. Oh, a man is desiring to have sex. Let's get him a wife. It's what he knows. But there are trained people around him. Abi, I didn't know medical doctors in that church. Don't they know the right thing to do? When he made the announcement, did they go to him and say, Papa, this is not how to handle it. This is how we should handle it. I want the medical professionals to chime in. How do we handle people living on the spectrum who now have sexual needs that need to be met? I'm sure there are medications that help them regulate all that feeling and emotion, how to behave, how do we handle this? And Nigeria, that's a whole conversation for another day. Like the lack of infrastructure, the lack of resources to handle these things. These people who live on the spectrum should not be left, should not be abandoned. There should be a provision for their care. But we're not ready to have that conversation. This is just sad to see. I'm disappointed.